Azorius. The magic equivalent of someone who corrects your grammar mid-sentence. But more on that in a moment. First, let's start with a little history. Azorius is the guild in charge of, well, Ravnica. The Azorius Senate is Ravnica's official government and creates all of its laws, and, according to the MTG Wiki, everyone hates them. Which is kind of perfect flavor. If Azorius was a person, they'd be the absolute worst person to get into an argument with. They've got answers for everything, change the topic when they start falling behind, and try to keep the fight going for just long enough that you get tired and give up. Game-wise, you can see it in their signature mechanic, Addendum, which adds extra effects to your spells if you play it in the main phase, emphasizing the importance of timing. And timing tends to be Azorius' boulder as well. Knowing when to deploy removal is key to any control deck, and at its heart, there's nothing Azorius loves more than control. But how does it get there? So, control. Now, most of you watching probably know what that means, but in case you're new to the game, control is exactly what it says on the tin. You try and control the board. Sometimes directly, with things like counterspells or targeted removal to get rid of threats, and sometimes indirectly, with cards like Ghostly Prison or Propaganda to make it harder for folks to attack you. Ultimately, playing Azorius is kind of like playing Civ. You spend your time protecting your city, researching new technology, and building up enough resources to eventually overwhelm the other players, which is where we start to see the cracks in the government. You see, Azorius is not the most direct color combo, and needs space to build its vast empire. Almost all Azorius strategies need to draw out the game to make the most of their pieces, so threat assessment is the flavor of the day. Do you remove that scary monster that's drooling in your direction, or do you save your removal for a possibly even scarier threat? Luckily, Azorius is made up of white and blue, which both bring their A games in this department. From white, Azorius gets better removal, artifact and enchantment synergies and removal, tokens, flicker effects, and life gain. And from blue, we get good card draw, artifact, instant and sorcery synergy, counterspells, creature tapping, mill effects, and bounce. But, for the sake of brevity, I'm going to focus on the strategies I closely associate with Azorius, namely Pillow Fort and Flicker. I've covered what Pillow Fort is in my white video, but if white builds Pillow Forts, then Azorius constructs cushioned citadels. A key part of Pillow Fort is taking care of threats, and the addition of counterspells lets Azorius dispatch them before they even hit the board. Add white's incredible sustainability, blue's card draw, and the alternate win con of mill, and you'll be outlasting the heat death of the universe as your master plan takes form. Flicker, however, is more of a toolbox. The idea is that you gather creatures with enter the battlefield effects, then exile them and return them to the battlefield, essentially doubling their effect. It's a lot more open-ended, which means more versatility, yes, but more chance of things going wrong if you don't have the right creatures on the board. As for which is better, that's really up to you. Like I said earlier, these are just the strategies I associate most with the combo. They aren't the only ones that exist. Artifacts matter, Enchantress, Foretell. Azorius has been around for long enough now that you can really do whatever you want with it and make something interesting. And what about creatures? Honestly, I debated doing this section. It felt like I would just be retelling both blue and white's top 3 creatures, but Azorius does add some new players to the roster, namely spirits and vehicles. Spirits aren't exactly new to blue and white, or even both, but they tend to be quite a prominent flavor in the Azorius mix. They, weirdly enough, are quite a varied creature type, but in keeping with the themes above, here are a few that enjoy flicker effects, life gain, making tokens, and protecting you. As varied as spirits are, vehicles, however, are far more so. They're artifacts that become creatures when their crew costs are met, and because they tend to be colorless, they come with a fantastic variety of abilities. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty added a lot of Azorius cards for vehicles, and the combo's inbuilt artifact synergy gives you a ton of options for protecting your mechs, searching them out, accruing value from playing them, and making your robot armies stronger. Other creatures include advisors, artificers, sphinges, and angels, as a wonderfully annoying combo platter. So, in order, people who like correcting you, eclectic trivia enjoyers, saw you were having fun, thought I'd fix that for you, and the only airstrike that comes with a free lecture. So that's Azorius, the patron saint of making games last far too long. But that's not a bad thing. Playing against an Azorius deck forces you to cobble together strategies you never had to consider before, and playing an Azorius deck feels like building a model ship and getting to sail it too. I hope I illustrated in this video that while these combinations are most associated with Ravnica, they've grown and persisted into far more than how they started. These videos are meant to be a basic rundown of the combos, but Magic is a game with so much going on that almost anything is possible. Yes, Azorius is best at control. It is known for outlasting its opponents, for making the game as difficult for everyone else and as easy for themselves as possible. And it loves indirect strategies. But if you aren't into all of that and still want to play the combo, the only limit is your imagination. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to find an imaginative way to remove the Azorius player's kneecaps. Bye bye. Hello, it's me, the Postscript Man, here to deliver a love letter to our incredible patrons, Dorian, Liam Anderson, and Discordance. Also, some of you may have noticed how long this video took, sorry about that by the way, but it's in part because I recently self-published my novel, A Liar's Tale, available on Amazon as an ebook. I'd really appreciate it if you go and check it out, and if you do check it out, please leave a review. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay kind, stay magical, and so long.